friend Joseph.
How you doing?
Good. We are kind of just walking around. We're gonna go check out the Rothko Museum. We're gonna show them what that's about, Rothko Chapel, and then we're gonna talk about some real estate. And what
Absolutely.
You do. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
It's gonna be awesome.
Great day for it.
Oh yes, it's beautiful. So what did you think about Rothko Chapel?
I mean, I'm not really the artsy type, but
That's a lie! Your house is decked out in original art.
yes, that wasn't art in there. That was just like a canvas covered in black paint, and you're just like looking at it. I don't know. It was. I feel like I was in an insane asylum things, you know? I couldn't go crazy if you stayed there too long.
So basically it's this chapel that you go in and it's just all quiet and you admire art.
You're in an octagon chapel thing, and is it even a chapel? I guess it's a chapel. They had these weird beanbag things in the front. It was interesting,
And you're quiet.
Yeah, it's silence, and they don't allow you to take photos, but you didn't miss out on anything. So.
Oh my gosh! Well, Jose just joined us. Jose, say what's up.
Juan.
Oh my gosh!
I look like a Jose.
And it's dog.
And you know what's so funny is
The worst host ever.
Cuervo thing, because she didn't know my
name.
last name, so I guess I look like a Jose.
Wow.
Jose Cuervo?
Yeah,
My
she
bad.
didn't know my last name.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I just look like a Jose.
He just looks like a Jose. One of those J names. Just joined us, and so we're gonna take a peek at some of the art that's over here and find a good spot to blog. So I'm here with Joseph and his friend Juan. I got it right this time.
Yeah.
And I'm always trying to bring you all value by bringing on some people in my own sphere to kind of teach you all the mindset of an entrepreneur and what it takes to be one. And so I'm just gonna let them talk. I'm gonna ask them questions. I'm on the other side of the camera. Hi guys.
How's it going?
How's it going?
Good. So how do you start in real estate, which is kind of the similarity between the two of what you guys do?
Depends how much money you have.
Well, I think I overstepped. Joseph, what do you do?
So I'm a multifamily investor. So
Okay.
we'll go out and actually raise capital. I don't have all the money myself, but I'll raise 95% of the capital we need to go out and buy the property. And this is millions of dollars. And we'll go out and meet with brokers like Juan, who will show us beautiful properties to purchase. We'll underwrite them, make sure they're a good fit for our investors and a good fit for our management company, and then we'll go in and purchase them or come up with some other strategy.
And Juan, what is it that you do?
Multifamily investment specialist. So I work for a national firm. I'm an independent contractor within that firm. And essentially, I'm a commercial real estate agent specializing in multifamily investments.
And you were telling me earlier you're a serial entrepreneur. What
Yes.
else do you do?
I have a new startup called Senate Homes. We are building homes from recycled materials. We have the ability to deliver a very customized product that we can deliver with speed and precision. So where we can go on the house we're doing in Conroe, it's about 1,800 feet with about 900 square feet of outdoor space. Priced at $185,000 in 90 days.
Wow.
And my baby is the Fanatical Change Foundation, which I was a co-founder of almost 10 years ago. And we've raised and delivered over $1 million. And we don't take any salaries. It's a 100% volunteer organization.
Y'all are involved in some pretty hefty investment businesses. So how do you get the money to start?
So for me, I was very fortunate. I worked for an oil and gas company when I started off. Worked for them overseas and had rather healthy income. I was able to partner with another friend, and we were just employees together at the time, but now we're good friends. And we purchased our first deal. We each went 50-50 on it. It was a small 26-unit apartment complex, and we purchased it for about $25,000 per unit. That's actually really light. You're not going to find a deal for $25,000 per unit in this market these days. And this is 2011. The market crashes, 09 through 010. So we were actually coming out of the crash whenever I was buying. So I definitely had some luck there in riding the wave up, which has since now kind of plateaued a little bit. So you just gotta be realistic. I was in a different environment than we are today and starting my business. I was in the same situation. These days, I would have probably been purchasing a bunch of rental houses, probably developed a nice portfolio, maybe 10 to 20 rental houses, and then sold them all off together to create the money I needed, which would be a much larger amount of money. You probably would need to raise at least $1 million, I would say, to go out and buy a decent sized property.
So you're not talking homes, you're talking like commercial buildings.
No, I'm buying apartment complexes.
Okay.
But if somebody wanted to go in that route, which I would recommend, I think ultimately that's the route that most real estate people want to hit. I get most single family investors would be best served by going into multifamily, just because the economics are different.
Consolidate all your issues. If you have houses all over the city and this toilet breaks, this one's got a roof leak, this one whatever, you'll run yourself ragged doing that. And when it comes to cash flow, you really don't make that much money in single family homes. It's more about growing your equity and letting your tenant pay for that.
How important is location to what you do?
Very much so.
Or is it just the property and what it looks like?
You have to look at the location. Like the
depends on what you're trying to do with it.
It's not in the best market, but because of the location being an island,
it was in the middle of an area. It was a less than desirable area. It was all right. It was the donut of that area, and
there were no other apartments near it. Because you can be the best operator, but if your neighbor just doesn't know what they're doing and they're letting in felons and God knows what, you could have the best operation possible. That property's going to drag yours down. So even though this was in a less than desirable area, it was an island to where your management and your skill set is going to dictate what happens at that property, and it's not going to be a victim of its own environment. The broker who had it, he had it for a year and a half. Showed it to Joe, so Joe's like, nah. But
so it's a little fun. I actually saw this deal before. My good friend Juan here showed it to me.
It was $200,000 less.
It was $200,000 less, and I told the broker no because of his reputation. I didn't tell him to his face why I was telling him no, but the issues with that property stayed the same from when he showed it to me and versus Juan showed it to me. But just because of there is a thing of reputations in the industry, and you get used to, when a deal is being presented to you by certain people, they're usually getting a certain type of property all the time, and so that was basically the main reason why I told him no. And then my friend here, Juan, picks it up and shows me the same deal, but presents it better.
Walks through it a little more.
He walks me through it a little better, presented it better. He also presented it in a better light.
Had a video.
Which I never
You never
saw.
watched. That's why I stopped doing them. They cost me like $5,000 each. Did you watch the video? No. Did you watch it? No. I stopped doing them.
Yeah.
Wow.
But then of course you put the cherry on top with the extra price tag of extra $200,000.
Wow.
But purchase it.
Okay, so I'm sure people are watching you guys saying you're not in a solo kind of business. You have to have contractors, right?
Right.
How do you choose your contractors? How do you choose the people that you work with?
So it's
because that can make or break your building.
Correct. Okay. And so every part of the due diligence process. So people who've purchased a house are probably familiar with, the 30-day due diligence process. Then you have, I think on a house, you might get 2 weeks to close financially. I know they're doing it a lot quicker. I haven't. So I actually have never purchased a house. So there you go. I've only purchased these major complexes, but never owned a house. But it's a similar process. So for us, along with doing the normal underwriting and the physical structure of the building, the other part of my team, they're interviewing the staff on the operations side to make sure that they're the right fit, the right people in the right seats for this particular property. And sometimes they're not. Sometimes the issue with the property is the staff, and so we'll go in and we'll change staff out upon closing. And then immediately the property will start to improve. Back
to the money conversation, because I feel like that is what prevents people from going into entrepreneurship. Bank loans, yay or nay?
You're going to need at least 2 years of tax returns if you're self-employed. So initially, I think probably the easiest way to get started in real estate is a thing called wholesaling, because it does not take a lot of money to do that. Essentially, it's You see the signs everywhere, we buy houses, cash, blah, blah, blah. So essentially what those guys are doing is they're creating a database of people who buy single-family homes. And let's say the house, when it's fixed up, is worth $100,000. It can be bought for 50 and it needs 15,000 in repairs. So if I get all that under contract as, one and or assigns, and I say, Joseph, hey, I've got this deal under contract, I will assign you my interest in this contract for a fee of $5,000. So all I did was put the deal under contract. When Joseph puts the money in to basically buy, that covers my earnest money. So I really, at the end of that, didn't really you need a little working capital for, earnest money in the title company, but we're talking about, $1,000, $1,500. And that you're going to get back, because whether he closes it or not, that, $2,000 or whatever, that he has to pay me to lock the deal up, that's mine, whether he closes or not. You do that 4 times, you've got $20,000. Now you don't have to wholesale that deal out, and you just close on it yourself. You fix the house, and now instead of making, 5, you're making in that situation 35 on that deal, and then on and on and on and on.
Where does risk play in what you do? Do you stand to lose money, or you said time?
And what side, the wholesale side, or?
I think overall, if you're going to ask like on a real general sense, time is the killer of all deals. Time can be pretty scary when you're doing a big development like that, because the market might be hot at the time that you're breaking ground.
Right.
But if it takes you 2 years to complete the thing, you can be through a leasing cycle to where now you're on the downslope by the time you're opening your doors. So time in construction can hurt you. But the quicker you move things along, the less inherent risk is going to be on a very general sense.
Timing is important because we will schedule our rehabs around leasing season. So there is a such thing as, especially in the Houston market, there's a time called leasing season. Basically, it's around the time when the kids get out of school to when the kids go back to school. Mm-hmm. That's when you have the most movement in leases. It's during that period. During the winter months, people don't move around that much. The other risk is when you're buying properties from my friend here like Juan, and you're presenting them as being a certain thing, a certain way, and the seller will then present it also to Juan as a certain way, and then you actually take over it and you find out, oh, it's actually different. Meaning, maybe there's a lot of stuff that's behind the walls that's broken or messed up, a lot of plumbing issues, a lot of, there's certain things and risks you take when buying properties that you're just not going to be able to test for. Like the only way to figure out what's wrong with it is to actually buy it.
Mm-hmm. A guy that we know, I sold the deal to the guy he bought it from, and he wanted to tear it down and put a mid-rise on 11th Street. And they tore the building down, tore the slab out, started digging down, hit another slab.
Ooh.
There was a whole other apartment building that had been there. They covered the whole thing up, put new slabs, and built a new building.
Wow.
For him to take all of that stuff out, because you can't leave the big piles of dirt there because of runoff. So he had to truck all the dirt out, jackhammer all that stuff up, pull that out, and then put the dirt back. $850,000.